In which aquifer are these private wells and septic systems located? Well, they're mostly on the surface in that upper glacial aquifer. We also know that people are flushing medications down toilets. Why? Why are people flushing medications down toilets? Well, people have been told to flush medications down toilets, and you say, Tom, who's been doing the telling? Well, for one, the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA recommends flushing of these 31 medications. You go to their website, you'll find this list. Also, hospice has a decision tree which recommends flushing. You know, when a person dies, they leave behind medication, and that medication needs responsible disposal. I want to ask this question again. Why do people flush medications down the toilet? Because in the past, it's been okay. Standard operating procedure. And let me ask this question one last time. Why do people flush medications down the toilet? Well, here's the real reason. Because people do not have a free, convenient, and responsible method to dispose of their unwanted medications. So we've gotten to part 3, my new job. Folks, my new job is to provide you with a free, convenient, and responsible method to dispose of your medications. Well, my hard-working wife is not so thrilled with the retired part of retired banker. And she encouraged me to find something to do. So I say, okay, I'm no longer a retired banker. I'm the executive director of the Lloyd Magothy Water Trust. It's a 501c3 not-for-profit. A lot of people ask me, Tom, who's Lloyd Magothy? And now you know. The names Lloyd and Magothy are the names of 2 freshwater aquifers that underlie Long Island, from which 3 million people get their drinking water. The Lloyd Magothy Water Trust has a dual mission, and this is very important. Number 1, environmental, to help keep medications out of our drinking water. And number 2 is societal, to help prevent prescription drug abuse. And you say, well, how are those 2 connected? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you about this conversation I had with a fellow whose name is Sam. A couple of months ago, I was telling him about the work that I did. He said, Tom, you know, 7 years ago, I had a root canal done, and the dentist gave me a 10-day supply of Vicodin. I never used it. It is still in my medicine cabinet. I said, Sam, why is that Vicodin still in your medicine cabinet? This is what Sam said. Well, maybe next week I'm going to break my leg, and I'll be glad I kept it around. So I said to Sam, Sam, what do you think is going to happen first? You're going to break your leg, or your teenage grandchildren are going to come visit you, ask to use your bathroom, look inside your medicine cabinet, find that Vicodin, take it home, wash it down with a couple of beers, fall asleep, and never wake up. I said, Sam, you know, if you break your leg, the pain is going to be excruciating for a couple of days. But if you lose one of your grandchildren because you kept that stupid Vicodin around, the pain will last the rest of your life. I said, Sam, you can take your Vicodin to the big red box. You can walk up to the big red box, open the little door, drop in your old medication, and as they say on Long Island, bada bing, bada boom, forget about it. Here's a big red box in a retail pharmacy in Niagara Falls. And here's a big red box in a pharmacy in Southampton, where we started and where we finished. This gentleman is Robert Brisnick. He's been a pharmacist for 50 years. He is also the chairman of the board of the Lloyd Magothy Water Trust. He is my boss. And I want to point out something that Bob Brisnick is holding in his hands. This is unwanted medication. And here's the story behind it. A young child was diagnosed with dwarfism. The physician prescribed this medication. The parents ordered it. The insurance company paid for it. And then the physician changed the medication. Not willy-nilly. He had a very good reason. But because the prescription was changed, this medication became unwanted. The value of the medication in Bob Grisnick's hands, $43,000. The big red box in Bob Grisnick's pharmacy in 40 days collected 40 pounds, and we valued that medication at $140,000. This is not a drug bust. This is a Drug Enforcement Administration take-back event. In 4 hours, people brought in unwanted medication and deposited at this event. The National Community Pharmacists Association says that nearly 4 billion prescriptions are filled every year, and 250 million pounds per year need responsible disposal. It becomes unwanted. 250 million pounds of medication would fill 6,250 tractor trailers. And if you line them up, bumper to bumper, end to end, that convoy would be how long? The length of Long Island. For many years we have had two methods of medication disposal, trash and toilet. We now know, and all of us agree, that flushing medications down the toilet is a bad idea. But we also advocate that throwing medications out in the trash is a bad idea too. Now you say, well, I agree with you on toilet, but I'm not sure about trash. What's wrong with trash? Trash pickers. Trash pickers, that's what's wrong with trash. Wildlife, birds, domestic animals, teenagers. God forbid this little baby in the lower left-hand corner found some carbamazepine and thought it was candy. Well, in 2010, we really started making the connection between flushing medications down the toilet and our drinking water. This gentleman is Andrew Cuomo. He's the governor of New York State. And you remember going through southeastern New York. Well, in 2010, Andrew Cuomo was not the governor of New York State, but he was the Attorney General of New York State. And in 2010, Andrew Cuomo sued 2 hospitals and 3 nursing homes in southeastern New York because they were flushing medications down the toilet, into the septic systems, into the groundwater, which then had the potential of going into New York City's drinking water. Andrew Cuomo said, no, 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 you will pay a fine and you will find a different way to get rid of your medications. On Long Island, in Suffolk County, the government passes a new law. RX disposal plan is required of all hospitals, nursing homes, and hospice facilities. In 2010 again, the Drug Enforcement Administration got into the disposal program. Why? Why did a federal law enforcement agency get involved with keeping medications out of our drinking water? It's because of America's prescription drug abuse epidemic. Deaths per year. Illegal drugs such as heroin and cocaine kill 16,000 people, but prescription drug overdose kills 22,000. On a per day basis, heroin and cocaine 40 per day, prescription drug overdose 60 per day. You see, we have a dual mission, environmental and societal. I think I can't add any other words to this slide. Okay, in 2010, the Drug Enforcement Administration got in, and in 2014, they got out. Parkersburg, West Virginia, ran this story. Prescription drug take-back program ends. The sheriff said, if the Drug Enforcement Administration is out, we can't afford it either. We're out. Jackson, Missouri, same deal. DEA is out, we're out. Well, in New York State, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation is still in. This article was written by Scott Stoner, who is the Chief Pharmaceuticals Work Group Division of Water. It's a very high-level position in the DEC. Eight days ago, the DEC ran a take-back program for healthcare facilities. They sent environmental conservation officers to hospitals, nursing homes, and hospice facilities to collect unwanted medications. Now, personally, I think that effort is laudable, but as a government, I don't think that we can deploy these kinds of assets to go around and collect unwanted medications. Cost effective? No, but at least it's an effort to create the awareness that medications need responsible disposal. I'm near the end of my presentation, but I needed to slide this in. General Electric is a very big corporation, and they have a very big presence in New York State. And if you look right here, this red line that is appearing, that is a 200 length of the Hudson River. It is the longest Superfund site in the United States. Why? Because General Electric, between 1947 and 1977, dumped PCBs into the river. Well, today, General Electric has a water filter that purportedly removes 94% of trace pharmaceuticals. Here's the filter. The cost is approximately $45. Well, I'll tell you this. If I'm going to pay $45 for a water filter for my refrigerator, I want 100% of the pharmaceuticals removed and 100% of the PCBs. Now, the CEO of General Electric is Jeffrey Immelt. And I say to Mr. Immelt, how about taking $1 of every water filter sale, putting it in a fund, giving it to the Alan A. Leff Memorial Lecture Fund, the Drinking Water Research Foundation, the West Virginia Rivers Coalition, the Emerald Planet, Lloyd Magothy Water Trust, and others. Mr. Elmer, if you're here, if you're watching this, here's my telephone number. Please give me a call. Let's talk. Jim Angers from New Hampshire. The best and most cost-effective way to ensure safe water at the tap is to keep source waters clean. This is interesting. Do you want to drink clean water or cleaned water? These are not sources of water. When you ask people, where do you get your drinking water? Some are going to say, out of the kitchen faucet. Well, I get my drinking water out of the refrigerator. This or that. These are not sources of water. These are sources of water. The Great Lakes, Finger Lakes, reservoirs, aquifers, rivers, and other lakes. These are the sources of water that need protection. Okay, in review, we started at Niagara Falls. We went through the Finger Lakes. We did not get arrested by the water police. And we ended up looking at the aquifers that are under a lot of pressure on Long Island. These freshwater aquifers, keep in mind, are squeezed between two bodies of salt water. Folks, your take-home message is on the screen. Do not flush medications down the toilet. People drink water. Let's keep medications out of our water. Thank you very much.